5 years ago today since Britain sought pastures new and left the EU under Boris Johnson's leadership.
Tonight, we are leaving the European Union. For many people, this is an astonishing moment of hope, a moment they thought would never come.
Well, back in 2016, when Britain voted leave, that hope that Boris Johnson speaks of was well and truly alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, dare to dream that the dawn is breaking on an independent, united kingdom.
Well, can the same really be said today? Since leaving, we've had 4 different prime ministers, extra pressure on the NHS, on education and on housing, all hitting breaking point.
Well, net migration hasn't slowed down either. Just this week, it's been reported that the population could reach 72.5 million by 2032.
Well, there's been a YouGov poll asking whether people think Brexit is working. Only 11% thought so. But is the issue actually Brexit or just how it's been implemented?
I hope 5 years from now we'll elect a better government that's more able to take advantage of our Brexit freedoms. So I in my ideal world, we will be growing, liberalised, deregulated, much more free market economy. Even if that doesn't happen, I think it's very unlikely that we're going back into the EU anytime soon.
Under Labour.
Under Labour.
Well, we're out and about today across the nation finding out how Brexit has impacted you. We're going to start with Nana Aquir, who's in North Shields, and then we'll be talking to Martin Daubney, who's in Boston in Lincolnshire. Nana, let's start with you, shall we? Because fishing rights have been one of the biggest battles of Brexit. What are people saying to you there 5 years on?
Well, it seems so far that it seems to be a thumbs down, even though there's allegedly digitisation in processing of a lot of the information, which should save money. And, of course, there was a Brexit report that said specifically that Brexit would actually be a plus in terms of fishing across 5 years. About 50 million extra will be put into fishing as a result of it. But on the ground, that's not what I'm hearing. So joining me now is John Ellis. He's a fisherman and a merchant fisher, and you've been doing this for quite some time.
Yes.
John, how long have you been fishing?
I've been working on this fish market for 68 years. And I started in 1957, and I used to go to sea in trawlers years and years ago. Then I went in the sea was a bit on the rough side, so I decided to come and work actually on the fish market itself. Then I became a filleter, and then I became the fish merchant I am now.
What changes have you seen in terms of Brexit? So since Brexit, have things got worse or better?
Well, you've got to look, well, 1975, this market handled 3 million boxes of fish, and now it's, for a year, and now it's only maybe 30,000 boxes of fish. Now they don't catch fish really at all. Langoustines that they catch around this place now.
Fancy prawns.
Fancy prawns, yes, that's right. But you never see them down getting sold here in England. They all go straight to the continent. The boat lands, goes to a processing factory, and straight to France, France, Spain, Italy, Portugal.
What changes? So over the last 5 years, what changes have you seen, and have they been good or bad for fishing?
Oh, they've been bad. Really, really bad. I thought when we got out the common market that the boats would get a bigger quota of fish, and it seems that they've made no difference. They've still got a really, really low quota. In fact, when they go to sea now and they catch prawns, and if there's any fish among it, most of them just throw it overboard because it's not viable. They're not allowed to land that fish. Even though they catch it in the net, they're not allowed to put it on this market.
That seems a bit ridiculous. I thought that Brexit, and I think a lot of people thought that Brexit would mean that you had more freedom and that you could sell to more markets and actually the shackles from the EU would be gone.
The shackles may be gone, but all the premises have gone with it. Over the years we're in a common market, the fish business disappeared. Now it's all public houses, like restaurants and cafes and public houses now. So even if it did, we get a lot more fish. Where would we process it? There's no processing places on this fish market. And in my day, there would be like 120 filters on the quay. Now there's maybe 6 of us out of all them.
And is that down mainly to Brexit?
Well, it's down to Brexit because they made the quota so low that there was no work for them and they had to find other work. There was no fish to cook, was there? At one time, when they first joined the common market, they gave us a good quota, and just over a period of years, they just made it go down and down and down.
Aren't there any other markets that you could sell to?
No, none. Well, here, it's all like frozen fish. Even, take fish and chip shops, right? You might get 1 in 100 that uses fresh fish now. The other 99 all use frozen fish. And you get all that gets imported from Norway, Iceland, Russia.
So did you vote to leave or remain?
Oh, definitely voted to leave because I thought it would be better for the fishermen. I really thought the quota would go high and it would get more fish and people would, start anew, but it's never happened. In fact, it's got worse.
So does Brexit get a thumbs up or thumbs down from you?
Down. Definitely for me, it's definitely a down.
Yeah. Well, let's thank you very much, John Ellis. He's a merchant fisher, was a filleter before. It's an absolute thumbs down from him here at North Shields Fishing Quay.
OK, Nana, thank you. Well, let's head to Boston. And Martin Daubney is, it was the Brexit capital, Martin, wasn't it? But it seems to be the immigration capital nowadays.
Yeah, so 75% of the residents of Boston, Lincolnshire, voted to leave the European Union in 2016. That's the highest of any constituency anywhere in the entire United Kingdom. They voted ostensibly to take back control of immigration. A town of around 70,000, but has been bolstered now. 20% of the town is from overseas, mainly East Europe and the Balkans, and that's got worse. Since 2011, Brexit spectacularly and measurably has failed to take back control of the borders here, of the town here, of immigration. They like us here in the town. We've already been approached by many GBNews viewers, and I'm now joined by the Deputy Leader of Reform UK and the Member of Parliament for Boston and Skegness, Mr. Richard Tice. Richard, welcome to the show.
Nice to see you. I mean, the sun's not yet shining. The skies are grey with disappointment on Brexit Day because all the opportunity, it was the right thing to do. This great vote here, the biggest constituency, I think, vote in the whole country. But people are disappointed, Martin, with the Tory government's utter failure to take advantage of this great opportunity. And people here feel they've been betrayed, been let down, because far from taking back control of the borders and reducing immigration, the Tories basically allowed it to explode, to mushroom, which was a complete and utter opposite of what was promised, and people believe them.
Just so people at home understand, what is it about Boston and the area that attracts so many people from places like Lithuania, Poland, Romania? It's a seasonal agricultural work and the factory work, right?
Huge agricultural industry here and across the whole constituency and in Lincolnshire. So yes, we need seasonal agricultural workers, of course, and that's we've always had that, should have always had that. But that's been allowed to mushroom into just a complete explosion. And I'm afraid to say that there's been much illegal immigration here in and around Boston, which I think has increased in recent years, a failure of the authorities to actually to control immigration laws. And that's one of the things that I'm determined to get on top of. So yeah, it's a series of disappointment, really, that this opportunity has not yet been taken advantage of, but it's still there. And frankly, It's only reform that will take advantage of it.
So the feeling is, Boris Johnson said we'll get Brexit done, and people around here don't feel that happened. The borders haven't been controlled, the population is actually increasing. So the amount of immigration coming into this area is actually going up. It's 50% higher than the average for England. A total failure of border control, and particularly in this town. So how could that change in the future? A lot of people are thinking that Keir Starmer's government, bear in mind he campaigned to cancel Brexit as the leader of the People's Vote, that we are on a direction of travel to get closer to Brussels. Can Brexit ever be delivered?
Well, legally we've left. Practically, we've not taken advantage of that opportunity, but there is still time. What we've got to do is get rid of this dreadful Labour government who want to drag us closer to the failing, sclerotic, recessionary European Union, take advantage of the much bigger opportunities, and also to make Brexit work for British citizens. And actually, if you restrict the labour supply, if you have net zero immigration, which is what we want, then guess what? Actually, wages will go up for British citizens,
but
the opportunities will grow.
Net zero immigration is still 5 million in.
No, it's not.
Net immigration is 5 million, so net zero is 5 million in.
But net zero immigration means 1 in, 1 out. And actually, you should only welcome highly skilled, highly qualified people who speak the language, who want to integrate and who want to work. Not this lunacy where we've just seen in recent days where you've got like 15,000 health and social care workers and 60,000 dependents coming with them not working. That's idiocy. No common sense whatsoever. Okay. So let's have a smart immigration policy, not a mass daft immigration policy.
Okay, Richard Tice, thank you very much. So stick with us. We'll be back here throughout the day speaking to business leaders, locals, and also there's a Lithuanian language school down the way there where they are welcoming children from abroad to teach them English, all paid for by the council. Does that sound like a constituency that took back control? We're saying goodbye from Boston, Lincolnshire, and thank you, Richard Tice.
OK, Martin, thank you.
Well, our poll of the day today is, do you trust the government not to unpick Brexit? Well, so far, 99% of you say that Starmer isn't to be trusted. Just 1% of you say you have trust in this government. We just saw Martin Daubney there. The final result of this poll will be announced in his show later. If you want to get involved, just head to gbnews.com/poll.